If I don't go home tonight, I do not want a vigil. All I want is for you to take my place. I do not want letters. I want you to write letters to the editor. I just want you to take care of my family. My husband's partially disabled and I got 2 kids. Take care of my family and take my place. Sign that pledge and get yourself into training. Take my place, okay?
I mean, they've come through here, but I'll be on guard.
Oh, okay.
Transportation.
Maybe not.
They're being cuffed.
Go there.
Sarah, come over here. Right along here. Get right up front.
Call Jeff?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
Oh no, it's Peter. Oh, Peter Mantius. Yeah, Peter Mantius.
Coming in for a shot of your candle.
Okay. Well, it won't get blown out.
Picking out the other door.
Oh, look at all you. Oh, you guys. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Good to see you guys.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Dougie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you,
Good
pal?
to see you in freedom.
It's good to see you.
All right,
Wow.
up on the steps in the light.
I smell coffee.
Welcome back.
I smell coffee.
Who's your friend with the cup?
I don't know.
Makes you almost want to go to jail.
Welcome back.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's looking so great. Overwhelming.
That's got to be so good. It's awesome in there.
It's like a regular old day spa.
This is nothing. It's not dial soap, is it? I now have a newer version to dial soap.
Yeah. All right.
So happy for you, Elijah.
Yeah.
Well, we had plenty of time, so we wrote speeches. Ready?
Hey,
Hi, everyone.
that's real paper.
I guess my last piece. That's good. I need glasses for this one. Okay. I missed you all, and I missed this beautiful world. And I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be wearing blue again instead of orange. But I'm also very glad to have spent this past week in the 24/7 company of my co-defendant and Seneca Lake co-defender, Colleen Bowen. Thanks to the kindness of our booking officer, Colleen and I were placed in adjacent cells for 5 days. We were placed in adjacent cell, and for the first 5 days we talked through the wall, and we passed notes back and forth. After our TB tests came back negative, we were reclassified and then could speak to each other face to face in the cell block and walk in circuits together around the rec yard. Colleen, there is no person that I would rather be in prison with than you. One document that we passed back and forth between us was a copy of Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1963 letter from a Birmingham jail. And in it, Dr. King makes the case for civil disobedience as a tool of social change when all other lawful efforts to attain justice have failed. It was interesting for me to learn and read in this letter that civil disobedience trainings during the civil rights movement included how to cope with the ordeal of going to jail. It's just part of their training. Likely for King and his fellow civil rights workers, continuing their civil disobedience witness into jail was not a choice as it is for us. Nevertheless, it still has value, and among its other benefits, a jail sentence offers time for deep reflection. And so here's one insight that I've had this week, during this week of reflection. It comes from a fellow inmate who's struggling mightily to overcome a lifetime of addiction and sexual abuse that extends back into her early childhood. Abuse is what is normal for her. She's never lived without it. And she told me, I'm not trying to find myself, I'm trying to create myself. And I think that's our challenge too. We've been living so long under the tyranny of the fossil fuel industry that it's come to seem normal to us. The abuse that it gives us seems normal because we've never experienced life without it. So when a Texas-based gas company buys our lakeshore in order to store vast quantities of explosive hydrocarbon gas in the old salt mines underneath, imperiling drinking water, the climate, and everything in between, we don't know what to do. We can't find the path to victory. We have to create it. That's going to require a lot of work from all of us over a sustained period of time. What Colleen and I did just now is only a tiny part of the struggle. So please just don't thank us. Just tell us what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And here is U.S. Air Force Senior Master Sergeant, retired, Colleen Bowen, my defendant and defender.
Well, first of all, she promised me in jail that she wouldn't make me follow her again, but there you go. I love her, I really do, I love you. Anyway, I'll make this as quick as I can read, okay, because everybody's tired, but I want to thank you for braving the cold tonight and coming out to welcome us home at this late hour. As many of you know, a little over a month ago, and with the full support of most of you here tonight, I chose to embrace my military past and take on Crestwood and the oil and gas establishment. I donned pieces of my Air Force uniform, and I have to say it served me well. Recalling the hardships and dehumanization that came along with basic training helped me immeasurably to endure a 7-day jail stay. Throughout basic, it was drummed into us over and over again that we leave no one behind. On the obstacle course, before we could move on to the next barrier, we had to stop, look back, and make sure no one was in trouble behind us. Over the last few hours in lockup, I couldn't help but feel that I was about to leave new comrades behind, my fellow cellmates in cell block C. With the exception of my next door neighbor in C3, Sandra here, I was leaving women who told us they believe in what we are doing and wholeheartedly support us, and they thanked us. Due to their circumstances and the heart-wrenching life stories they freely shared with us, I understand they can't join us on the front lines, now or any time in the near future, even though they said they gladly would. They've got life-saving work to do on themselves and for their own children. So I give them a pass, thanks accepted. But over time, as I sat in my locked cell, I realized I'm growing less patient towards those who are quick to thank and painfully slow to step up. We are in a crisis here, along Seneca and in Horseheads and Lawman and Painted Post and in other communities throughout the region. Time is ticking out, and call me cranky at this late hour if you wish, but I feel it's high time for those who know the perils we face to find a way to contribute. Not everyone needs to go to jail, but for those defenders who are considering trading in their blue garb for orange, I encourage them to do so. It is important to keep the spotlight on what is happening here, and I believe filling the jails with physically able folks will help to do that. A special note to women who are considering accepting a jail sentence. I can say with confidence that Sandra and I have cleared the minefields in Chemung County Jail, and the women there are prepared to welcome you, watch over you, and show you the ropes. From their cells, they are prepared to help us in our fight in the only way that is available to them. I want to thank you all for coming out again. For those of you that wrote letters to the editor, sent us letters and notes, we had an early wake up to receive those this morning at 4:30, but we were very grateful for that. And to this one, I could not have asked for, it wasn't a fun time, but we had fun sometimes. So I just, we're glad to be out. It's really heartwarming to see you all here tonight, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And we thank you.
Welcome home.
Yeah.
How about a hug, sister?
Wonderful. Thank you both.
I'm her warm-up man. It was great on the Jumbotron in Times Square, by the way.
Oh, thanks. It was a good look.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. They were in Times Square on the big screen.
Oh, wow, that coffee is awesome.